Hey guys, it's Faybelle Noirr, and today I'll be showing you the behind the scenes of Connor's much needed makeover. I started things off by removing all of his clothes, and I tried to remove any dirt and anything I could with a wet wipe. I then began to pull off all of his yarn hair. Once I got off as much as I could with my hands, I whipped out the old acetone and went to work on removing his beard, lips, and the rest of the hair. If it isn't obvious, he was originally a hunter doll, so the acetone is perfect for removing the flocked sides. Once I removed all the flock, I noticed he had some weird letters and numbers carved into the side of his head. Not sure why, and I'm wondering if anyone else has discovered this on a hunter as well. Odd. I then removed his head to pull out the rest of bits of hair I, for some reason, left in his head when I first customized him. And then, once again, I used acetone to remove the paint. After that's all done and clean, I used my craft paint to paint the top of his head all black. Now this is the fun but very tedious part. I gathered a bunch of strings of black yarn and began to separate them into 4 individual strands. I used these strands like chunks of hair and rooted them all over his head. The smooth areas where the flock was really difficult, so I used a push pin to create the holes. Once his whole head was rooted, I got out my trusty cat brush to comb it out. I very much recommend gluing the hair like any reroot, but I can't remember if I did that or not. It's very helpful though, I recommend it. The easiest way to do this without pulling out all of the hair is to hold the hair in small sections at the root, gently twisting and carefully combing ends to root. Regardless of any safety methods I used, the hair still got pulled out, so I had to take some more strands of yarn, tie them in the middle with a rubber band, and then comb them out. I then rooted them where they were needed. I'm curious to actually try this as a method in the future. Instead of rerooting and then combing, maybe I should just comb and then reroot. But didn't do that this time. I then got the paints back out to work on his face. Now, I haven't had the best luck with Mr. Super Clear, or my cans just really expired, so I skipped that step. If you're doing a whole face up, or worried about chipping, I would use it, but since I'm just painting details to an existing face, I'm not too worried. I touched up his eyebrows and then watered down my paint to do some really smoky eyeliner. The secret to this is painting it and then using a clean water brush to make it look even more smudged. When the water would get too runny, I would just wipe his face off with a paper towel. Once that's done how I like it, I go across with a perfect black eyeliner. I like to do this slightly over the eye to make the eyes look a little more narrow. I think this really adds more edge to the dolls. I really like the way that looks. Now, with a little more craft paint, I mixed together a bunch of colors to make the most perfect color for his lips. Like Kitty suggested, he needs a nose ring, so I grabbed those pins again and used them to poke 2 holes in the nose. Putting the ring in was super hard, but after a lot of struggle, I got it in. Now for the detail I was most excited to fix, his facial hair. This time I really wanted to paint it as accurately to his character as I could. He's the son of Jack Sparrow. I think he should have his facial hair. Unfortunately, my phone died while I was painting the chin part, so sadly I cannot show you how I did that, but I'm really proud of how it turned out. I then went on to finally trimming his hair. I wanted his hair to be inspired by Beck's hair from Victorious, so I trimmed it accordingly. I then used saran wrap to help it lay flat and even left him like this for a couple days. Off camera, I mixed water with matte Mod Podge and applied that everywhere I painted. And I also added some over his tattoos that I gave him years ago. They've surprisingly held up with only a few chips. I finally put his clothes back on, gave him a longer chain and some rings, and he was done. I am very proud of how he turned out. I think he looks a lot more like how I originally envisioned him. The only difference is now he has much longer hair. I hope you guys liked his transformation and get excited because there's so much more in store for him in my series Happily After. I'm also currently working on a mini-series that will be exclusive to TikTok and Instagram Reels, so go follow me there so you don't miss anything. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell me what you think of him. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye!
Say what you wanna say to me now.